What is going on, everybody? This is Yes at That, and today I'm reviewing Elon Musk, Tesla, SpaceX and the Quest for a Fantastic Future by Ashlee Vance. Alright, so this book is the biography of Elon Musk. If you don't know Musk, he founded Tesla, the car company, the electric car company. He founded SpaceX, the rocket company, and some other companies that don't really play a big role in this book. Those are the ones he's most known for, at least, and he is billionaire, businessman, engineer, quite an interesting person. I like this book a lot because the author actually met with Elon Musk a bunch of times while writing this book. So he met him many times, but still this isn't like the Musk perspective on everything. This is kind of the author's take on Musk's comments and what he gathered from everybody else he interviewed. So the author tries to present multiple views on controversial topics, for example, which really helps. I actually took something away from this book. I learned some new perspectives. So for me personally, it was very interesting. I also think that Elon Musk is a very interesting person, an engineer who turned businessman trying to improve the world with his companies, basically. I mean, no matter what you think of Musk, both SpaceX and Tesla sounded like a pretty terrible idea in the beginning to, I guess, the normal citizen. And he got a lot of flack in the media, but both of them are very successful now, and I mean, they speak for themselves, basically. Talking about this book, I will cover the content of the book first a little bit, go like not in detail, but just generally what the content is about, then give you my likes and my dislikes, and finally my score for the book. Alright, so the contents. This biography starts from the beginning, who would have thought, and it actually starts with Elon Musk's childhood in South Africa. And I thought this part was kind of interesting. I mean, it's very relevant when you consider the whole life of him. But yeah, in case you didn't know, he grew up in South Africa actually and only went to the US later in his life. So that part is interesting, kind of a traumatic childhood actually. And then it goes on to his travels to Canada, to the US, his college education, and how he funded his first company, which was a online company for, I guess, mapping services, which brought some big businesses online for the first time, brought them to the internet for the first time. Then he went on to co-found PayPal, which he later sold, and with the money he made from selling PayPal, he started SpaceX. And SpaceX is probably the one that everybody associates with him, as well as Tesla. And SpaceX was this crazy idea of making commercial space flights, and eventually the goal of SpaceX is to settle on Mars. So to make humans a multiplanetary species. Now, if this doesn't sound crazy enough for you, he actually managed to make it, to create this company that does commercial space flights. He actually managed to build rockets that work. I mean, the book covers all of this in great detail, like how they made their first test flights that failed horribly and, you know, the struggles of this company, but now they're huge and this is a super conservative industry, and he managed to kind of roll it up with his new rockets now that can actually land themselves again, and he can recover all the material. It's insane. And then it goes on to how he created Tesla, which is an electric car company, and how back in the day, everybody said that was completely stupid or it was completely impossible, which I guess most people said. And all of this is because Musk wanted to change the world and basically accelerate how fast we can get sustainable transport and sustainable energy, which is also why he bought Solar City with Tesla, and he's doing basically solar and batteries to make the energy grid greener and renewable. So obviously the author goes into a lot more detail. Basically, there are a few points that are controversial. For example, when Musk went from, big investor and chairman or something of Tesla to co-founder and CEO. So, and other things. There are a lot of struggles with the companies where at one point both of them almost went bankrupt in the financial crisis, I think, or shortly after. And well, it's very interesting to read about his decisions and how he thinks about stuff. Oh yeah, and also his work ethic and how he tries to push it onto other people and try to find people as motivated as him who want to work on this day and night, and how the different phases of the companies look like when they were a startup, when they're more established, and when they get bigger and bigger. Well, at the time of writing, Tesla wasn't really big. It was not small anymore, but it wasn't like a big company like it is now. It's basically selling so many cars, not as much as the traditional automakers, but for a pretty new company in the car space, which is already super hard, it's a very impressive result. Alright, that being said, if you want to know more about the companies, the man himself, you just kind of have to read the book. But I'm going to continue and talk about my likes now. So the most important thing to me in this kind of book is that it's actually objective, and I think this book definitely delivered. It's presenting multiple viewpoints. As I said already, it's not only what Musk wants to hear, and that was important to the author as well. So Ashlee Vance really did a good job with this book. I like the way that Musk thinks. He is a visionary somehow, because he thinks very different from normal people, but basically what he does, it's very simple. He sees a problem like our current transport relying on fossil fuels. And if you think about it, we're just gathering up all this carbon dioxide from very deep inside the earth, getting all of that out onto the planet, and then pew, throwing it anywhere we want in the atmosphere, in the sea, and everywhere. So no matter how drastic the effects are, we should just kind of stop. And his idea, or his assumption, was that if batteries are good enough, then cars with batteries, electric cars, should be possible. And you can calculate what the density of the battery, like how much energy you have to pack into this battery to make it possible. And at some point, apparently, he realized, okay, seems like it's possible, so I'll do it. And that's the interesting thing about Musk to me. He thinks like a businessman, but he always breaks things down to the physics level. So if he sees that a problem is physically feasible or infeasible, that's how he can decide if the business makes sense or doesn't. Which is really cool mindset, actually. And recently, I think I saw this on Twitter, someone asked about electric planes, and a lot of people would just say, oh, electric planes, super stupid, can't work, batteries are too heavy. But Elon Musk actually said that he calculated it one day, and what he came up with was approximately at least something that can be achieved today. I think he threw out some number in there, and he said he's pretty confident that in like 5 to 10 years that should be possible, but right now it's just not physically feasible. So that's a really good mindset to have, in my opinion, and something I really took away from the book. I mean, in general, you shouldn't just say, oh, electric cars can never work. You can say electric cars don't work because with the size of the battery that you have, you can only get so and so far, and that's, nobody wants that, and blah blah blah. But obviously it's possible, and he showed that to the entire world. Other things that I liked, it really shows the Silicon Valley mentality and how he brought this to other industries, the car industry, the space flight industry, and this is really interesting for me. I'm very curious how that actually worked out. Okay, dislikes. So I have to say, sometimes it was kind of boring, it was kind of slow, or sometimes the history of the business performance and like development just wasn't very interesting to me. I mean, it was more towards the second half of the book when you already read so much about his business, and then it just keeps going and going and going, and at some point you're like, yeah, okay, I guess. But overall, it's not that bad, it's just at points. And I mean, if you ever feel bored, you could just stop reading. So another thing that is kind of a big minus, so something I find kind of funny is technically the book already has to be updated, because in the book I think somewhere it says like, oh yeah, SpaceX is gonna try to land the rockets again, which they're already doing, and Tesla has the Model 3 now, and you know, so much change, but obviously, yeah, not sure if that's gonna happen. So overall, I gave this book an 8 out of 10. I actually really liked it. It's very interesting, very eye-opening in some aspects. Sometimes it's a little long-winded, but that's really okay in my opinion. It gives a very objective view on things, which is important, at least for me. But yeah, it kind of needs updating because, you know, SpaceX landing rockets, Model 3. Oh, I completely forgot the autopilot / autonomous driving, which every car company is trying to do right now. We'll see how that works out, but I mean, a lot has changed basically. But yeah, if you are curious about the book, you can check out the Joe Rogan podcast with Elon Musk. I actually highly recommend this to anybody, because you can get a glimpse at how this man thinks, and he thinks very different from us. So yeah, I mean, or you can just watch the podcast for the meme where Elon Musk smokes a joint, but I mean, all right. Anyways, that's it for this video. If you read the book, let me know what you think in the comments below. If you hate Elon Musk, let me know as well. And yeah, that's it for my review. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, bye.